Performing Arts. I thank them, and I also thank Kenny Barber, who helped make it possible for them to be with us tonight. My name is Lauren Olson. I'm the chair of the 5th Congressional District for the DFL. It's so exciting to be with people who know what that means, maybe. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, my job is to help re-elect Keith Ellison, so that part's pretty easy. Thank you all so much for being here, and then I want to thank the Minneapolis Regional Labor Federation for helping us get this win, and their president, Bill McCarthy, and also IBW 292, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. Got a guy up here wearing full gear. And also the Painters Union, who helped out with us as well, so thank you. I'm going to make an attempt to acknowledge some of the elected officials here today, the ones that are not going to be speaking. Or actually, we're just going to line them all up and you'll hear from everyone. So it's kind of hard to see who's all here, so I did my best. So I believe we have Representative Diane Loeffler. I see Phyllis Kahn right there as well. Frank Hornstein. Jim Dabney. Joe Murray. Champion. And we have State Senators Jeff Hayden, Senator Patricia Torres-Ray, and Senator Scott Dibble right up front here. I got it. I'm sorry, you might not have heard it when I said Joe Mullery. Sorry, I should have. Okay, Raymond Dean is here also, and Deborah Nordstrom. And we got Linda Higgins here who's running for County Commissioner. And I'm not done yet, so we have council members John Quincy, Betsy Hodges, Elizabeth Glidden, Sandy Gilroy, Diane Armstead. We have school board members Rebecca Gagnon. Okay, Jill Davis, Kim Ellison, Eddie Ellison, and we have Park Commissioner Brad Thorns, and also I missed Councilmember Meg Tuttle. Oh, Senator Jamie Tigg, my very own senator. Thank you. So basically, raise your hand if you are not an elected official. Okay. That's good. And I missed one. This could go on all night. No. Commissioner Peter McLaughlin, Hennepin County Commissioner. I see a and Ray, I already got Ray. We're going to stop at this point and we might come back to this. But it gives me great pleasure to introduce the man who has been leading us in their DFL party to have a very successful fight against these amendments. And I'm so excited for tomorrow. My pleasure to introduce Ken Martin, chair of the DFL.
Until we get to decide the future of this state and country. The stakes could not be any higher. Think about this. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I don't want to wake up on the day after the election, Wednesday, having any regrets. Wondering if I could have knocked out one more door, made one more phone call, talked to one more person, and because of that, we have a President Romney. Because of that, we have Republicans in control of the U.S. Congress. We have Republicans in control of the state legislature. And we passed these two nasty constitutional amendments. The stakes could not be any higher, and tomorrow is our time. We've got to win. Are you with me? We've got a lot of speakers here, so I'm going to shut up now and introduce them. The first speaker I want to introduce has really done a great job leading our city, leading this city, but not only in his work as mayor, but in his work trying to help re-elect our great president, President Obama. He's traveled around the country, he's traveled around this state, making sure that people understand there's a choice. A choice with President Obama to move this country forward, or the choice with Mitt Romney to move it backwards. It's my great honor to introduce our mayor, the mayor of Minneapolis, R.T. Rybak!
10 years ago tonight, we were over at the Labor Center on Lake Street, and it was a really tough night. It was a cold night. Paul Wellstone had just died, and standing outside in the cold, Walter Mondale stood up to speak. And he stood up to speak, and I could see the air coming out of his mouth. It was so cold that night, and tears were streaming down people's faces. They worked like crazy. It looked tough. It looked like we may lose. And Walter Mondale, who'd been through so many fights, looked out on us and said, never, ever, ever let anyone tell you that politics is a bad thing. Never let anybody tell you that standing up and giving up part of your time for someone else is something that you should be ashamed of. This is a noble cause. Tonight may not be the best night, but we will have better nights. And I will never forget Vice President Mondale saying to that in one of the toughest times we ever had. And I want you to think what's happened since then. We went back. We did exactly what Paul and Sheila said. We organized. We talked to our neighbors. We turned places that were always red into blue. And 4 years ago, we elected in the most improbable election you could possibly imagine. We elected Barack Obama president. And the first thing he said is, if we're going to bring this country back, everybody's coming back equally. So the first thing he did is he said women deserve equal pay for equal work. Pass Lilly Ledbetter, and that was done. Firefighters on the street, and teachers in the classroom. And in this city that knows what it means when a bridge collapses, he funded infrastructure and the transit projects and put working people to work. That's what your work did. You put others to work, and that's what we stood for. Got us out of Iraq, getting us out of Afghanistan, got Bin Laden, and then he put his neck on the line. And he said, this country is better than what we've got now in health care. Put his career on the line and said, 30 million Americans deserve health care. That's Obamacare. That's your work. Woo! And what we need to do now is to do exactly what we've done all over this country. I was with auto workers in Ohio this weekend, and I've been with people all over this country. We have a fight on our hands because there are a lot of people who want to turn the clock back. They want to take they wanted to sit on its ass. And they gave us nothing but 2 rotten amendments. We're going to shove them out. We're going to have a Democratic majority. And we are going to defeat 2 of the worst amendments in history and be the first state to finally say we will, on the ballot, declare equal rights for anyone to marry whoever they want. Yeah! Fight harder tomorrow. You're standing on some broad shoulders, and thank God we've got the Democratic Party to recognize in good times or in bad times, we stand together. Let's go get them tomorrow. We've got another great mayor as well. Across the river, the mayor of St. Paul, who's been fighting very hard to make sure that not only do we have a great state, but we have great cities as well. It's my honor to introduce the mayor of St. Paul,
call Mayor Chris Coleman. I'm really excited to be here. I have been up since 2 o'clock this morning. And the reason is because I'm an exceptionally good father. My daughter was up here all weekend campaigning. She was on the bus tour, and she needed a ride back to college. So I gladly got up at 2 o'clock this morning to take her back down to Madison. And oh, by the way, there was a rally this morning at Madison with a guy named Barack Obama. And this other guy named Bruce Springsteen. So I figured that the two chances I'm going to get to see Bruce next Sunday and Monday down in downtown St. Paul weren't enough, so I had to see him this morning. But the first song that Bruce sang this morning was one of my all-time favorites. No retreat, baby, no surrender. And if there was ever a phrase that stood for what this election is about, it is no retreat, no surrender. We have made great progress under this president. We have made great progress in these last 4 years, taking us out of the hole that the Bush administration put us in. We've made great progress getting people back to work. Great progress on equal rights for all. Great progress on repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. On so many different fronts, keeping the auto industry going. And we cannot retreat. We can't surrender to people that believe that climate change isn't real and deny science. We can't retreat. We can't retreat in the face of people that want to strip basic rights away from women in this country. We can't surrender to people that want to go back to the policies of the Bush administration that got us in this problem in the first place. No retreat, no surrender. And we work until the polls close tomorrow. We call, we knock, we go out, we control, we beg, we plead. We tell the truth about what has happened these last 4 years. We tell the truth about these hateful amendments. We tell the truth about how to move this country and this state forward. We tell the truth about how important it is to re-elect Senator Amy Klobuchar to the U.S. Senate. We tell the truth about how important it is to give a legislature that actually can move the state forward. We tell the truth about what it is that makes Minnesota great. And when we do, and when we say no retreat, no surrender, we're going to get to the promised land, as Bruce sang also. This is about the future. We're going to fight hard. I want to thank you all. It's an exciting night. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we're going to start counting those numbers, and we're going to celebrate. Because Minnesota is going to be the first state in the country to beat that hateful amendment. And let's not retreat, let's not surrender, let's fight till the polls close. Thank you. All right. The next speaker is going to be the next speaker.
Tautology.
I don't even know what that means. Say it.
Pernicious tautology.
24 hours, we have the ability to take back the state legislature. Think about this, we lost the state legislature by less than 3,000 votes statewide. We lost the state house by 700 votes, the state senate by 2,200 votes. And because of that, we've seen inaction, we've seen gridlock, we've seen the longest shutdown in our state history. It's time to reverse course. It's time to elect a Democratic majority. It's my honor to introduce the next Speaker of the House, Representative Paul Thissen. All right, thank you.
I'm going to try this too, all right? Because I don't know about that mic. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, and I really want to make sure that we think about how we got to this point. First, let's give Ken Martin a huge round of applause. To beat back these amendments, to elect our great federal officials, but also to take back the legislature. Yeah. But we couldn't have done it without organized labor being there with us every step of the way. This election really is about a huge choice, and the Republicans over the last 2 years have made the choices very clear. Think about this. If we would have had Democratic majorities in the legislature the last 2 years, we wouldn't even be talking about these two amendments.
Yeah.
We would have gone directly the other way. We would have been talking about expanding rights for people. And don't make any mistake about it. If this Republican legislature is reelected, they're going to pass a right to work amendment. It's going to be on the ballot in 2 years. And we cannot have that in Minnesota. This legislature made a choice. Instead of investing in education, which we're going to do along with our great Governor Dayton, I don't even know where he is here. Somewhere over there. Mark Dayton, they decided to cut higher education, the highest amount ever, and borrow $2.5 billion from our schools, setting our opportunity for the middle class back. And at the end of the day, that's what the choice is about in this election. Are we going to be on the side of big corporations and millionaires? Or are we going to be on the side of working people, the middle class, the people that built this country and built this state? I think we got to be on the side of the middle class. That's what Democrats are going to deliver when we get the majorities back in the legislature. But we need you because it's going to be incredibly close. There's no question about it. The Senate and the House are going to be incredibly close. And I know you've been working for months and for weeks. We've had incredible turnout over the last 4 days with our Get Out the Vote effort. But we need you one more day. We need you to get out to districts that are going to be close. In the suburbs, there's a lot close by. Please get out there, knock on doors, make phone calls, talk to your friends and neighbors that live there, because that is what's going to make the difference. $10 million has been spent in legislative races in this state so far this year. We're going to beat that with people power, and it's going to be the folks in this room. So thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for what you're going to do, because we're going to build a pro-labor, pro-middle class, pro-Minnesota majority in Minnesota.
Every Minnesotan in this state that Congressman Lewis marched and fought with, alongside with, people who died for the right to vote in the civil rights movement. And he said, and you remind folks that women before them fought and died for the right to vote. How dare we in this day and age in 2012 put any obstacles or hurdles in front of a person's right? This is a right, not a privilege. We've got to make sure we beat back this voter restriction amendment tomorrow. Are you with me? Yeah! We are going to beat back this marriage amendment. I feel it in my bones. But let me tell you something. I don't want to wake up. I do not want to wake up in 20 years and have my two boys, they can say one of two things to me. The first thing they could say is, Dad, how could Minnesota, how could that state allow discrimination to be written into the Constitution? How could we tell two committed, same-sex loving individuals that they could not marry each other? I don't want my boys to say that to me in 20 years. Here's the alternative. They could wake up 20 years from now and say to me, Dad, thank you. Thank Minnesota for doing what's right, standing up for equality, standing up for our brothers and sisters in the LGBT community. That's what I want my kids to say to me, and we have the opportunity tomorrow to beat back this hateful constitutional amendment. Will you join me?
Thank you. We have done an amazing, amazing thing this last 18 months. You know, this amendment and the other amendment, they were foisted on us. We did not choose them. But our community, the GLBT community, and our allies have never been at their finest in this than in this fight. It has been a movement that we have built, an amazing movement that has taken on every corner of this state, because the things that unite us are so much more important than the things that divide us. And every political party, every sector of our state, people in every corner, and people from the faith community standing up and saying, because of love that is the foundation of our families, that makes our community strong, because we stand up for freedom in our Constitution that's guaranteed for everyone, not just some people. This is the Minnesota that we inherited, and we're going to stand up and fight for it. So it's been a blessing and an honor to be a part of this incredible movement, to see so many amazing friends, to see so much personal courage, people taking incredible risks in their lives, opening up their hearts, and opening up their passion and moving forward in love, and that's what we're doing in the state. But when I say this has been a mighty coalition, let's make no mistake. A major part of that coalition has been the DFL party and DFLers in this state. Ken Martin has been a huge force in this fight as well. And Ken himself is opening up his heart to talk about why this amendment matters to him personally. And that's what's made the difference. People talking about what matters to them personally. I get to talk about my husband Richard. We got married 4 years ago. Stands with me and my sisters who are here. The love that unites our family. They were there 4 years ago at our wedding, and then my sister Deanna got married just a few weeks ago. And guess what? It was the same thing. It was the same celebration about everyone coming together in love and commitment to support each other. Because in Minnesota we treat everyone with dignity and respect. And let me say one more thing about this coalition and this amazing campaign, this amazing movement. We have done it so much better than in any other state, which is why we are going to be the first state, not the 31st state.
State in Maryland closed before we
Well, it will be
the third state.
all right. Technicality. Thank you very much. So, let me talk about labor. In other states, we've lost in labor households, but guess what? We're winning in labor households in Minnesota. Because this is such a strong campaign of people talking to each other and opening up their hearts. So you know, in workplaces and lunchrooms, because the leadership of labor has stepped up with time and money, app speed, and admin, and you name it. Every labor union, SEIU, every labor union, IATSE, Page, everyone doing an incredible job. So just let me say again, we are building a mighty movement. It's built on love. It's about commitment, family, community, dignity, respect, and making Minnesota what Minnesota must become and must become again. So thank you all very much.
At the Central Labor Council. How fitting it is to be in a labor temple. A place where labor is honored, where the dignity of working men and women is held high. How fitting it is because it is in this election where we have had to fight for the dignity of working people all across this country and in the state of Minnesota. Don't ever doubt that they are attacking working men and women when they try to take our vote away and put barriers in front of our vote. Don't ever doubt that they're trying to divide working men and women with this ugly, nasty anti-marriage amendment. The best thing we can do is turn this nasty stuff back and say solidarity, solidarity forever. We're going to take this state back, everybody. Get out there and work. We're going to do it. Come on now. Keep out there.
To serve with the great senior senator from the state of Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar. Make a live shot in St. Paul by 10. And that's why I'm going to introduce her right now. The great senator, the great senior senator from the state of Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar.
We have been having
the town of Tenney, which happens to have 4 people. We got to the town and found out as we were standing by the grain elevator that on a 2-to-1 vote with 1 abstention, they had abolished the town. But we still got a vote. So we are not giving up anywhere. And you know what? We know what it means to work hard in tough elections in Minnesota. But I just want to leave you with some good news, okay? This is what we just got tonight for President Obama. He is up in Wisconsin. He is up in Colorado. He is up barely, but he is up in Virginia. He is up 5 points in Ohio. I am not even telling you the votes in Minnesota because I want you to go out there and get them. Let me just end by telling you how important this is. You know, this is literally about our democracy. We have seen this election how one billionaire can write a $10 million check and try to change the course of an election. We cannot let that continue, and that's why after this election, Al and I are going to work together to pass the Disclose Act so we can reach out to overturn Citizens United. You're right, yes. As we talked about, there are some bad amendments out there, and they have been proposed on the ballot in Minnesota. I take this personally. One of the Republican operators 2 weeks ago said that the gay marriage amendment was put on the ballot because they wanted to increase their turnout because they thought I was too strong. So I take it personally. Let's delete that amendment. Let's get that amendment out of here, as well as the voter restriction amendment. This is not for the decent politics that we grew up with in Minnesota. This is not what our state stands for. So I will end with this. I was thinking the other day, as you know, it was the 10-year anniversary of Paul and Sheila's death. Well, we all remember Paul as he would run back and forth, especially at labor events all over the state, running back and forth, shaking hands. Well, you know, at the very end of his life, that last summer he couldn't run like that because he'd been diagnosed with MS, and he'd stand at the back of the bus, and he would just wave to people with Sheila, smiling, waving, working hard. Well, what I remember most in those parades was that he had energized so many people in those green shirts, remember? They would run around the bus, and you literally could not tell that he wasn't running himself. That is what grassroots politics is about. He inspired so many people with the optimism, with the hope for the future. And you know what? For our candidates, for the next 24 hours, that's what you have to do for them. In those tough legislative races, to defeat those divisive amendments, you have to be the ones running for us. Let's get this done, and we are going to have a great night tomorrow night.
I think it will